There is a force that destroys families more completely than financial collapse, more quietly than substance abuse, and with more certainty than physical abandonment. That force is desire, not the desire you built a marriage on, not the practical desire that led to children and mortgages and shared routines. The other kind, the kind that arrives unannounced in year 7 or year 12 or year 15 and rewrites every rule the family was built on. When that desire takes over, the family does not slowly deteriorate, it detonates. And the people left standing in the aftermath spend years trying to understand how something that seemed so stable could collapse so completely in so little time. This is not about affairs that happen because of neglect. This is not about marriages that were already broken. This is about families that appeared functional, that had routines and rituals and plans for the future. And then one person, almost always the woman, experiences a shift in what she wants. And that shift is so powerful, so all-consuming that nothing else matters. Not the children, not the years invested, not the promises made. When desire of this magnitude takes control, every other priority becomes secondary. And the family, which was built on the assumption that she would continue prioritizing stability over feeling, discovers too late that the assumption was wrong. Most men do not see it coming because the signs are not what you would expect. She is not distant. She is not angry. In fact, she might seem happier than she has been in years. She starts going to the gym. She changes her hair. She buys new clothes. She seems more energized, more alive. And you think this is good. You think she is finally taking care of herself. You think the depression or the exhaustion, or whatever was weighing her down has lifted. And you are right. Something has lifted. But what replaced it is not self-care. It is someone else. Someone who makes her feel the way you have not made her feel in years. And by the time you realize what is actually happening, she has already made the decision. She has already chosen him over you, over the kids, over everything you built together. The pattern is always the same. It begins with small changes. She starts texting more. She is vague about where she is going. She picks fights over things that never bothered her before. She needs space. She needs time alone. She needs to figure out who she is. And you give it to her because you think you are being supportive. You think you are being a good partner. But what you are actually doing is giving her room to transition out of the marriage without resistance. You are making it easier for her to leave. And she will. Not all at once. Not in one explosive moment. But piece by piece. Conversation by conversation. Until one day she tells you she is not in love with you anymore. That she has not been for a while. That she met someone who makes her feel alive again. And she is sorry. But she has to follow her heart. This is the language she will use. Follow her heart. Be true to herself. Live authentically. She will frame the destruction of your family as a form of self-actualization, as something brave, as something she had to do. And the culture will support her. Her friends will tell her she deserves happiness. Therapists will tell her she cannot stay in a marriage where she feels unfulfilled. Social media will celebrate her courage. And you, the man who worked and provided and showed up every day, you become the villain. The person who was holding her back. The person who did not see her. The person who let the spark die. It does not matter that you were doing exactly what you thought you were supposed to do. It does not matter that you were being a father and a provider and a stable presence. None of that matters once desire takes over. Because desire does not care about responsibility. It does not care about fairness. It only cares about itself. The children become collateral. They do not understand why mom is leaving. They do not understand why the family is splitting apart. And she will tell them it is complicated. She will tell them that sometimes adults need to make hard choices. She will tell them that she still loves them. And maybe she does. but not enough to stay. Not enough to put their stability above her feelings. Because when desire is in control, everything else becomes negotiable. Even the well-being of your own children. She will convince herself that they will be fine. The kids are resilient. That they will adjust. And maybe they will adjust. But they will not be fine. They will carry the fracture with them for the rest of their lives. They will learn that love is conditional. That commitment is temporary. That the people you trust most can leave without warning. And those lessons will shape every relationship they have going forward. You will not be able to reason with her. You will try. You will sit her down and remind her of what you built together. You will remind her of the vows she made. You will remind her of the children who need both parents under the same roof. And she will listen. She will nod. She might even cry. But it will not change anything, because reasoning requires that both people are operating from the same framework. And she is not. She is operating from a framework where her feelings are the ultimate authority, where happiness is the highest goal, where anything that makes her feel constrained or obligated or less than ecstatic is something she has the right to escape. And once someone adopts that framework, there is no argument that reaches them. You are speaking different languages, and hers is the only one she can hear anymore. The affair itself is rarely about the other person. Men think it is. Men think if they can just get her away from him, if they can expose him as flawed or unreliable or using her, that she will come back. But she will not come back. Because the other man is not the cause. He is the catalyst. He is the person who made her realize she could feel something she thought was gone forever. And once she realizes that, once she experiences that intensity again, going back to you feels like giving up, like settling, like choosing safety over aliveness. And she has spent enough of her life choosing safety. Now she wants to feel something, even if it destroys everything, even if it hurts people she loves. The feeling is worth it. That is what desire does. It recalibrates value. It makes the present moment more important than the past or the future. And anyone who stands in the way of that moment becomes an enemy. This happens to men who did nothing wrong, men who were faithful, men who were present, men who provided well, men who thought they had a good marriage, not a perfect marriage, but a solid one that would last. And then one day it is over. Not because of something they did, not because of something they failed to do, but because she changed, because something inside her shifted. And that shift made the life you built together intolerable to her. She looks at you now and sees everything she does not want. The routine, the predictability, the lack of passion. The years ahead that look exactly like the years behind. And she cannot do it. She will not do it. So she leaves, and she takes the children and half of everything you earned. And the family you thought was permanent is gone. The justification comes later, after she has left. After the affair is out in the open, after the lawyers are involved, she will build a story that makes sense to her. A story where you were emotionally unavailable, where you did not appreciate her, where she gave and you just took. And she will believe this story. She will tell it to her friends, to her family, to the therapist, to the judge. And they will believe her too. Because the story is designed to be believable. It is designed to cast her as the victim and you as the neglectful partner who left her no choice. And once that story is established, it becomes the official history. It does not matter what actually happened. It matters what she says happened. And what she says happened is that you failed her, that you drove her to this, that if you had just been different, none of this would be necessary. The children will hear this story too, not directly, but in the way she talks about you, in the way she explains the divorce, in the silences and the implications and the suggestions that Dad was not the partner she needed. And slowly, over months and years, their perception of you will shift. They will start to see you the way she sees you, as the one who caused this, as the one who could not keep the family together. And no matter what you say, no matter how you defend yourself, her version will win, because she has more time with them, because she controls the narrative, because children, especially young children, believe their mother. And if their mother says you were the problem, they will believe it, even if it is not true, even if you did everything you could. The story she tells will overwrite the reality you lived. There is a specific type of man who suffers most from this. The man who believed in the framework. The man who thought if he did his part, she would do hers. The man who thought marriage was a partnership built on mutual obligation. The man who sacrificed his own desires, his own freedom, his own options, because he made a commitment. That man is blindsided, because he was operating under a set of rules that no longer apply. He thought loyalty mattered. He thought consistency mattered. He thought being a good father and a reliable partner would be enough. And it was enough. Until it was not. Until she decided that enough was not enough anymore. Until she decided she wanted more. And once she decided that everything he did, everything he was, became insufficient. The other man is almost never better. He is not richer. He's not more attractive. He's not more stable. He is just different. He is new. He is exciting. He represents possibility instead of reality. And possibility is intoxicating. It allows her to imagine a version of herself that does not exist yet. A version that is happier, freer, more fulfilled. And she will chase that version even though it is a fantasy. Even though the other man will eventually become familiar too. Even though the passion will fade and the routine will return. But she does not think that far ahead. She's not thinking about 6 months from now or a year from now. She's thinking about right now, about how he makes her feel right now. And right now is all that matters. The family disintegrates in stages. First, the marriage ends. Then the custody battle begins. Then the children are split between 2 homes. Then the routines that held everything together disappear. No more family dinners. No more shared holidays. No more coordinated bedtimes or homework checks or weekend plans. Everything that made the family a family is gone. And in its place is a logistical nightmare. A calendar of pickups and drop-offs. A series of transactions disguised as co-parenting. You see your children half as much. You know half as much about their lives. You have half as much influence. And the other half belongs to her. And to him. The man who destroyed your family now sits at your table. Sleeps in a bed near your children. Plays the role you were supposed to play. And there is nothing you can do about it. Because the law does not care. The law says she has the right to move on. The right to bring someone new into their lives. The right to replace you. The financial destruction is immediate and total. You will pay for the house you no longer live in. You will pay for the children you see every other weekend. You will pay for her to start a new life while yours falls apart. And the amount you pay is not based on what is fair. It is based on a formula that assumes you should maintain her lifestyle even after she chose to end the marriage. Even after she chose someone else. You will work the same hours, earn the same income, and keep a fraction of it. The rest goes to support a family that no longer exists. And if you complain, if you fight it, you will be painted as bitter, as vindictive, as someone who doesn't care about his children. So you pay, because you have no choice, because the system is designed to extract from you regardless of fault, regardless of who ended the marriage, regardless of why. The men who go through this describe it the same way. They say it feels like being erased, like everything they built, everything they were, no longer matters. They are reduced to a check, to a visitor in their children's lives, to an obstacle their ex-wife has to manage. And the identity they had, father, husband, provider, is stripped away piece by piece until there is almost nothing left. And society does not care. Society tells them to move on, to accept it, to stop being bitter, to focus on the positives. But there are no positives. There is only loss, loss of time with your children, loss of the future you planned, loss of the belief that doing the right thing leads to good outcomes. That belief is gone, and it is not coming back. The pattern repeats itself with remarkable consistency. The woman meets someone new. She feels alive again. She decides the marriage is over. She tells herself she tried. She tells herself she deserves happiness. She leaves. She takes the children. She rebuilds. And the man is left trying to understand how it happened so fast. How someone he trusted completely could betray him so thoroughly. How the person who promised forever could walk away without looking back. And there is no satisfying answer. Because the answer is simple and devastating. She changed her mind. She decided her feelings were more important than her commitments. And once she decided that, everything else was inevitable. You cannot prevent this. You cannot love someone enough to make them stay. You cannot be good enough, or attentive enough, or passionate enough to guarantee loyalty. Because loyalty is not about you. It is about her values, about her ability to delay gratification, about her willingness to honor commitments even when feelings fade. And if she does not have that willingness, nothing you do will create it. You are not in control. You never were. You were operating under the assumption that marriage was a binding agreement, but for her, it was conditional. And the conditions changed. And now the agreement is void. And you are discovering this only after it is too late to protect yourself. The children will ask why. They will ask why mom left. They will ask why the family is broken. And you will not be able to tell them the truth. You will not be able to say that mom chose her own happiness over their stability, that she chose a feeling over a commitment, that she destroyed the family because someone new made her feel something she wanted to feel. You cannot say that, because saying that makes you the bad guy. So instead you will say something vague, something about people growing apart, something about it being complicated, and they will sense that you are hiding something. They will sense that there is a truth you are not telling them, and eventually they will stop asking, and the truth will stay buried, and the story their mother tells, the one where you are at fault, will become the only story they know. Desire is treated as sacred in this culture, as something that must be honored, as something that justifies almost anything, and women especially are told that their desire, their feelings, their sense of fulfillment is the highest priority, higher than obligation, higher than sacrifice, higher than the well-being of others. And so when a woman follows her desire out of a marriage, out of a family, she is celebrated. She is called brave. She is told she is living her truth. And the men and children she leaves behind are expected to accept it, to understand, to support her journey. And if they do not, they are selfish. They are holding her back. They are refusing to let her grow. This is the reality that no one prepares you for. The reality that the woman you marry might not be the woman you end up with. That feelings change. That commitment is not permanent unless both people choose to make it permanent. That desire, when it takes over, overrides everything. And when it does, your family will not survive. The marriage will end. The children will be divided. The life you built will be dismantled. And you will spend years trying to rebuild something that will never be the same. Because you cannot rebuild a family. You can only manage the wreckage. The men who survive this are the ones who accept it quickly, who do not fight for someone who has already left, who do not waste years trying to win back a person who does not want to be won, who focus on the parts of their life they can still control, their relationship with their children, their career, their health, their future. But even those men carry the damage. They carry the knowledge that everything they believed was wrong. That effort does not guarantee outcome, that love does not prevent betrayal, that doing everything right still leads to loss. And that knowledge changes them. It makes them careful. It makes them distant. It makes them unwilling to fully invest again. Because they know now what they did not know before, that it can all be taken away. Not because you failed, but because she changed her mind. The family does not recover. It fractures. Permanently. The children grow up split between two homes. They learn to navigate two different sets of rules, two different versions of family. And they learn that the adults they trusted most were not able to hold it together. They learn that love ends, that promises break, that stability is an illusion. And those lessons follow them into adulthood, into their own relationships, into their own marriages. The damage does not stay contained. It spreads. It repeats. And the pattern continues because no one is willing to say the truth out loud. That desire, when given ultimate authority, destroys more than it creates. That feelings, when treated as sacred, lead to chaos. That the pursuit of personal happiness, when placed above all else, leaves wreckage in its wake. You are living in the aftermath of a shift, a cultural shift that told women they owe nothing to anyone, that their feelings are justification enough, that leaving is always an option, that they deserve to feel passion and excitement and aliveness no matter the cost. And the cost is your family. The cost is your children's stability. The cost is your future. And no one cares, because her feelings matter more. Her happiness matters more. Her right to pursue desire matters more. And you, the man who built the life she is abandoning, you do not matter at all. You are simply the obstacle that had to be removed so she could become who she wants to be. And once you are removed, once the family is dismantled, she will move on. She will build something new. And you will be left holding the pieces of something that can never be put back together. This is what happens when desire takes over. This is the pattern, and by the time you recognize it, the outcome is already decided. She has already chosen. The family is already over, and everything that happens after is just the process of making it official. You were not prepared for this. No one told you it was possible. And now you know, and the knowledge changes nothing, because it came too late.